Abdullahi, let's clear the air on this news making the round that the court has stopped both David Mark, and Obeni Rauf Aregbesola from acting as both chairman and national secretary respectively. Let's clear the air on that.
There's no such thing. And thank you very much. There's no such thing. And when we got a copy of the court ruling, we looked at it and we found that the people who put out the information that such order had been given were deliberately misleading the public, because what the court indeed said was that they rejected actually the prayer of the applicant for such restraining order, and directed that the defendants should be notified. In this case, the party leadership should be notified, and that in subsequent appearance to show cause why the order should not be granted. So that's why we said it's fake news, because there is no such order granted by the court. It would have been wrong for the court to grant that kind of order.
Why? I'm aware that I think they fixed September 15th.
September 15th, yeah.
Good, but why? Like you said, why?
Yeah, because look, it's a settled matter. The Supreme Court has ruled repeatedly that the issue of leadership of a political party is entirely internal affairs of political parties, right? So, and in this case, that is what applies, because when the neck of the meeting, the 99th neck of the party, met in the presence of INEC, and that's why INEC proceeded to do the acknowledgement that they did, unanimously, the decision was taken to bring in this new leadership, unanimously. So you find a situation where a few individuals who, by whatever reason, are not agreeing with what has happened, are now trying to run to the court to give them what they could not get through politics, right? And for us, it's a settled matter. And that is why when you put it like, oh, David Mark led ADC here, then we don't feel comfortable, because that's not what is going on.
So the question of another chairman in the presence of Nafi Bala doesn't arise?
Absolutely, it does not exist. Because look, if you remember, when he first made these claims, when he first came out to make these claims, we published his resignation letter, because part of the process of coming into the coalition was the agreement that the existing leadership at the time will resign, collapse, and allowed for the new leadership to come in, including making the necessary constitutional amendments and all that. So as part of that process, he resigned, I think on 12th of May. So when we published the letter showing that he had resigned, what did he do? He came out to say, oh, he didn't actually resign because his signature was forged. And we say, if your signature was forged, why didn't you report to the police? Right? In any case, even if he is now claiming that he was not aware of his resignation, the very action of the NEC meeting meant that executive stand was dissolved by the action of the NEC. That's why I said, so you can't, you don't
stand not something on nothing.
On nothing, absolutely. Thank you very much.